Okay, well, my name is Emma Kissling. I'm 17 years old and I'm from Costa Rica.
All right, Emma, so this is Alina. I'm not sure if you guys know each other. Wait,
No,
no?
nice to
Oh,
meet you.
even better.
Nice
I
to
love
meet
it.
you too.
I was saying, Emma, thank you so much for being part of the community. Thank you for saying yes and
You're welcome.
sharing how this has been for you. Alina, it's one of our leaders. She's sort of like the spearhead of this project. She has truly taken it on to heart. I'm actually super grateful for her. And she jumped on, and we do this dynamic between her. You guys are probably the same age or around the same age, and myself. And we talk about what this has been for you, right? How this process has been.
Oh, I
How long ago
loved
did you
it.
go?
I went 2 years ago and I stayed for a month.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. Have you
Did you
lived there
like
your
it?
whole life? I
Yes,
loved it
all
so
my
much.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been outside of Costa Rica?
Yes. Actually, I visited New York once, but it was a long time ago, so I don't remember that well.
So wait, you're 17 or?
Yes, 17.
Okay, yeah, me too. So you're in your junior year of high school?
Yes, I am.
So what are you thinking about like after high school?
I'm thinking about going into engineering. I really like chemical
Hmm.
engineering, so probably that. What about you?
I think psychology. Rosemary, I don't know if she told you a little bit about herself, but she was a forensic psychologist. And I think
Really?
that's so cool. Yeah, I
That's
think
so
I want to
cool.
do that or something with that. She did like criminal psychology as well. And then she also wanted to be in the FBI. Her whole story is so cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, Alina, thank you.
Problem.
I love it.
Yeah. I think when I first heard about COVID-19 was just when it started. I heard the news about the virus when it was starting, and it was, I mean, of course, it was something to be worried about, but it was something that I never thought in the moment when I first heard the news that it was gonna come to Costa Rica, especially, I don't know, it's, I never thought that it would escalate the way that it did. So I remember the news about it spreading like around January, February, all the news about how it had started spreading, but in Costa Rica, nothing had happened yet until I remember it was in March. I'm not sure the specific date, but like at the very beginning of March, we had the first case, and suddenly we had it in the country. Ours is a very small country. We have like 5 million people. So suddenly it was in the country. It was starting to become very real. And so we started getting like a few cases, and very soon, around March 14, I think, a Saturday, they announced that my school would be shut down, and all the schools started shutting down very soon after. And it happened very fast. Like since we had the first case, it was like I think just a week or 2 weeks before everything shut down. So it was a very sudden change. We suddenly had to get used to doing school from home. We didn't see, well, I haven't seen my friends for more than a month. Yeah, more than a month.
Mhm.
Because the last time I went like out of my house was March 14 that we had the SAT. It was almost canceled, but we got to do it, but it was almost canceled. And since that time, we have been in total quarantine. And yeah, our country, I'm very, very proud of how Costa Rica handled the situation, because we had very few cases when everything was shut down. I think we had like, I'm not sure, like 30 something cases when all the schools shut down, the bars, restaurants, all the movie theaters, everything was shut down, and the borders were shut down. So this has really allowed us to keep control of the situation. And this is a very scary situation, of course, but I feel very happy that I'm here because we've had like I think 719 cases from today, but we've only had 6 deaths. So the healthcare system has been, and the government has been very, very good at controlling the situations. They have provided all the measures, they have put restrictions, and I think that's what has allowed us to feel so safe.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I'm very glad about that.
Do you think people like in your community are taking it seriously?
Yes, like of course there's people that don't take it seriously, but mostly I think people have very, very responsible like I think everyone is scared because
Yeah.
especially in a country like ours, if everything is shut down, then the economy will suffer. So I think
Mm-hmm.
everyone is trying, like mostly everyone, of course there's people who don't abide by the rules, but I think everyone's trying to be safe in order so that we can go back to normal as soon as we can, so the country doesn't suffer as much.
Yeah.
And well, like many of us are lucky, like around my community we go to a private school, so we have been having school online, which has been very good. But for example, the public schools in the country haven't been able to have school. So yeah, so this is also why we need to get back to normal as soon as we can, so everyone
Mm-hmm.
can go back to normal and the jobs and everything. So I think that's why people have been very, very good at like controlling. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
we've had like few cases a day. Today we had 6. Like a few days ago we only had 1 per day, 2 per day. So we're slowly getting it under control.
Yeah.
Good, good. And what has been the hardest part for you personally?
I think that for me, like before the quarantine, I had a very like set schedule. I would say I get up at the same time, I go to school after I have classes in the afternoon, and now everything is shifted. My sleep schedule's kind of weird. It's hard looking at a screen, like for the eyes, you get very tired looking at the screen all day. Like I think the huge change of routine has made it really hard for me, and what I've talked with my friends about, like to get used. And also the stress, I feel like now everyone is very stressed because it's a mixture of fear from the virus, that if you're going to get sick, what will happen to the country, what will happen with the future. For most of us, this would be a time where we start thinking about, like personally my generation, we're thinking about university, what will we do, what will we study, and now everything is like, it's not, nothing is sure anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's been, I think, the hardest. Like, yeah, the change in lifestyle, also not being able to leave the house and see our friends.
Mm-hmm.
Have you and your sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Lena.
Oh, have you and your friends like talked about that and like the uncertainty of the future?
Yes, definitely. um Many, we've talked about it. Like, we don't know what's going to happen with going to universities. Many people who wanted to go abroad are not sure anymore if they will be able to, especially since the country is going to be in a very, like, hopefully not very bad, but in a worse place economically. So many people are gonna suffer because of that. And yeah, the uncertainty, I don't know, everyone just feels very unsure about how everything's going to go.
And how have you been like
I
dealing with that?
mainly, I think, well, firstly, like with the future, I've been trying to what the university are they handling the
Yeah.
situation. Just I don't know, try to just calm myself down, and the world would find a way to get back to normal. So I'm just trying to get back to my normal, and I'm trying to set a routine, like getting up at the same time, going to sleep at the same time, going outside, getting sunlight. Like I think that's what we've been trying to do, all of us, my friends and I, just try to get back as closer to normal as we can, and just like keep reading the news to get on top of everything that's happening.
Mhm.
How has the rest of your family coped with it? Like your household, how do you see your family coping with the whole situation?
At first, well, my parents, of course, they were very scared. Well, because, well, firstly, of the virus, they're older, they're in a higher risk, so they were scared. What happened if they got sick? What would happen with us? What would happen with like the company? My dad has a company, so what would happen with that? What would happen with the rest of the country? Like how would we go? But I think slowly now they have gotten calmer because of the way the country is handling the situation. I think that has calmed everybody down because they're handling it very well. And well, my brother and sister, I have a younger brother and a younger sister. They were also very stressed at the beginning, the same as I. Everything was changed, but now I think we're all getting used to it and learning to cope the best we can, because we don't know how much longer we're gonna stay here. So we've been trying to like set a new routine, a new normal.
Do you think it's like brought you guys closer in any way, or?
Um, yes, I mean we were very close before, but I think now we're definitely spending more time together. We now like eat all the meals together. We talk a lot more on the weekends. Well, we spend all
Mhm.
the time together, so I think it's definitely made us connect more and spend more time together, which is very nice.
What do you think we can learn from, right, as a humanity as a whole during this whole pandemic where we're all going through it, right? We're in this together. What can we learn from this? What do you think is something that we can learn from?
Well, I think firstly we could learn a little bit about, I think most of the time people only think about themselves, like what benefits them, and this has really shown that like the actions of one person really have the ability to impact all of us. So I think that's really something you have to learn, to think about the whole and not just about yourself. And also I think um it's, well, for the future we have to learn how to be I mean there's no way we could have known
Mhm.
what was coming, but for the future, if something like this ever happens, I think that the world will be better prepared, um like with this crisis responses, to have better resources online. Like for example, I don't know about you guys, but in my school it was hard to get everyone like connected at once. So I think we have to find a way to like be able to connect without being together. I think that's something that's very important. And yeah, definitely to think about everyone, not just the actions of one.
Mhm. Yes. Perfect. I like that.
Yeah, that's
Right.
Thank you.
Being selfless definitely is something that's true here in New York. You know, New York City has been quote unquote the epicenter of the virus. Unfortunately, you know, it's not a
Hmm.
title that we like, but we are. And part of it, I think that, you know, in the beginning we didn't take it very serious. Although
Hmm.
our politician, our government did start restrictions uh, right after we saw the cases go up, so they started responding quickly. However, when it all started, right, when it all began to, when the whole conversation about the virus
Hmm.
began, we waited a little bit. We like
Oh.
waited
Hmm.
waited instead of taking action right there. And that was and then people as a whole, and I'm going to tell you, I was one of them, right? I wasn't taking it very serious. I was like, I come on, we're New Yorkers, like we get the flu.
Mhm.
We got a lot of stuff going on over here, right? And we're all about the hustle and bustle. We're all about being busy. And it was like an inconvenient to stop work and everything for this. Uh,
Mhm.
so for us, it definitely has been a lesson about slowing down, like slow down, stop for a
Mhm.
second, and let's think about the bigger picture, because we're very much about our business, right? What we got to.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's been a real big
Yeah.
lesson for us, for sure.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
like,
That's
sorry, go ahead.
yeah. That's I think well something that the rest of the world can not to like. Oh my God, Costa Rica! But I think that's something that really has been helping us that we took action almost immediately. So that's why we're slowly going back to normal. Like I tomorrow, some of the like the movie theaters and some gyms will open at 25% capacity. So we're because we took action so quickly, we shut down all the bars, all the schools, so everything. And like at first, people didn't want to do it. It was like New York, like the
Mm-hmm.
first week nobody wanted to do it, and then the government said like, okay, no, we have to do it, and they said even stricter measures, and then everyone did do it.
Mhm.
And I think that's what has helped us so much to be able to return to normal, kind
Yeah,
of.
I definitely agree. Like taking action before it gets too bad,
Mhm.
and then it's just gonna get harder and harder to find solutions. But
Exactly.
going back to your point about like caring about the whole community, I definitely think like New York, at least for my community, I've never really had to stop and think about like my neighbors, or like my community isn't that tight knit. So
Mhm.
like having to stop and like not think about your life, like that's definitely a good change that I think the world needs to get used to.
Yeah.
You're on mute.
You're mute.
I agree, 100%. I agree with you. I think that's something that we definitely need to take to heart
Yeah.
and think about our neighbors a little bit more. So tell me, how have you handled those hard days, right? The days where you're fed up with everything and you just want to go back to school, or you want to see your friends. How have you dealt with those days?
Oh, okay. I've had some days when I was feeling like very overwhelmed, like with everything, and very stressed. So mainly what I've done was, well, firstly, it sounds kind of dumb, but going outside like to the sun, that has really helped me, and like taking a walk or just focusing on what I have to do in the moment, like breathing and all those techniques that they say to relax, they have actually really worked for me. And with my friends, I've been getting used to calling them on FaceTime. Like now we meet every, for example, Friday and Saturday, we like every time like in the night we call each other. So it's like a reunion to try to make it appear as if we were, I don't know, hanging out on a Friday or going out. So like trying to keep this routine, and yeah, like really connecting with my family, talking about what I feel with them, like explaining what I feel, not to keep it everything bottled up. And yeah.
Mm. That's really important, not having everything be bottled up, because that's where you create that fear, right? That's where those emotions kind of get bigger, they amplify when you leave stuff in, right? When you
Mm-hmm.
don't have anybody to talk to, which is something that I want like our youth leaders to take to heart, to really find someone they can talk to, even if it's a friend
Mm-hmm.
or someone that they can connect to, so that they can kind of let out those feelings. We all
Yeah.
need an outlet at some point, and talking is one of the biggest. There's other things, right? You can listen to music, you can write, there's a whole lot of things, but talking is the number one way to kind of just let go and release all of that energy, right? All of that vibe.
Yes, and also I think that when you talk things through, like for example, when I've been feeling, for example, very stressed about the future, universities, talking about it with, well, my school has been very good about the counselors. We have had a lot of resources, so talking those things out with, for example, a college counselor or the school counselor, they bring like a new perspective that you didn't think about, and like they help calm you down and realize that everything is okay. So I think talking it out would be very important. And yeah.
Have a plan for the public school since they're not taking online classes?
I'm not sure. Like the plan now, I think, is to get them back to school as soon as they can. So I think everyone's just gonna get behind, or yeah, I think everyone's just gonna get a little behind on schedule. Right now, they're just waiting to see how the situation develops, and once they get them back to school, I think they're gonna decide what to do.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So, what would be your overall message for your peers, right? We're all in this together right now. Everyone's going through it at a different pace. What would be your overall message for your peers and everyone that would be watching the video?
Well, I don't know. I would tell everyone to, I guess, be strong. This is going to pass, hopefully soon. But well, just we have to wait it out. Try to keep to the rules because, like, yeah, what it said before, to think about everyone, stick to the rules, and that way we're gonna get out of it quicker. And like really try to find someone that they can talk to about the situation. It's very hard for everyone, so like talk out what they're feeling, because that will, like, from experience, talking it out will like lift something from your chest. It feels so much better. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was looking at the statistics. I read a lot of statistics, and suicide rates have gone up during this month, not only in adults but in teenagers. And that only tells me that there are people out there that feel alone and
Yes.
feel like they don't have a way out, or they're maybe getting desperate with the outcome. And this could be a way for them to kind of just connect to other people that are going through the same level of loneliness, and know that they're not alone. And maybe
Yeah,
we can save one or two.
hopefully.
Yes. Emma, thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
It
Oh,
was nice
you
meeting
too.
you. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Great meeting.